Hey, do you ever feel like you are really struggling to try to get referrals from your healthcare professionals? Do you feel like by the time that they start an account, you sort of glance over how to get these referrals, but you don't solidify it? You don't make that impact. You don't get those referrals right off the bat. I felt the same way, and I felt like I was never expanding distribution. That's such a big part of our business plan, but if you're not expanding distribution, then how are you making an impact? How are you, keep on going and making this residual for yourself? If you're just tuning in, I'm Sarah Tugender, National Sales Manager for nutraMetrix, making this your most efficient and effective year yet with nutraMetrix. Right now, I am on my way to my next appointment, a meeting with a massage therapist and a chiropractor to do a discovery appointment. And I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about what I think is holding you back from getting referrals, what's holding you back from expanding your organization, what's holding you back from getting to the next level. I think back when I was younger, and we celebrate Christmas in my family. That's a really big holiday, both the Polish and the Italian side. Christmas is a big deal, and we actually exchange some presents on Christmas Eve, and we exchange some presents on Christmas Day. I'm going to just flip onto my internet, see if I can get a better connection for you guys. There we go, cool. And so there was one Christmas, I was 6 years old, and this Christmas we went to the holiday school fair, and for $20 you could buy like 25 presents for your family. And I really like to wrap all my own presents, and so you could tell what you got when I wrapped it when I was 6, because whatever it was, it looked just like it. I never put anything in a box, I never did anything, but I loved to give presents. I think from an early age I realized that it was way more fun, the giving of presents, than the getting of presents. And one year my mom picked up the present, she goes, it just as it was wrapped, and was like, oh, I bet it's a ring. And I just felt like the color probably washed from my face. Like it was, I wanted the surprise to be there. And that's when I learned it was so important to me, the giving of presents and having it be a surprise, and giving my mom something, that I really felt like, came from me. And I loved that, but I was really disappointed that she guessed what my present was. And we joke about it now. She was like, I didn't even mean to. She felt so bad. I mean, I still talk about it. I tell her, Mom, I'll just keep sending you the therapy bills from the time I was 6 years old. No, but I mean, we have, like, I think even it's innately in us to want to give of ourselves. And I joined BNI. This was 3 years ago now. I joined when I was pregnant with Ella. I had branded myself as a wellness consultant and a health coach, and BNI has this phrase for any of you that have been in a BNI. It's called giver's gain. And the whole thing is that you're really supposed to pass referrals and send referrals amongst the group, and that they will track all these referrals, and then every single week they'll report back how many referrals were there, how much money was passed, who had meetings, what happened. And the whole thing was whoever gave the most got the most. Well, there was a construction person, there was an electrician, there were 3 or 4 different attorneys, and I gave business like it was going out of style. And at the end of my year, I don't even think I got nearly any of the business back that I even paid into it. And I would ask, and I would be really specific, and I kept feeling like in the back of my mind, giver's gain, like I gave, like what's coming back to me? What should I get? What do they owe me? And I started getting really resentful. And then I was listening to a podcast recently, and it was saying that you really need to learn how to give and not to get. Thanks, Dan. It's my husband telling me I'm a connector, giving me all those hearts. Thank you so much. You really do need to give, not to get. And it's like when you are going into a restaurant and you hold the door open for someone who's coming behind you. And you don't expect anything from them. You're not walking into the coffee shop and you don't, just because you held the door open for them, you don't expect them then to buy you a coffee. You don't expect them to do anything for you. I mean, we expect someone to say thank you. I think that that's courtesy, but I don't think we're really expecting anything back in return. And I think that once you have that sort of mentality, which I know is in your true nature. Like I said, when I was 6 and I knew how important it was for me to surprise my mom with this gift and how I felt when the surprise didn't really go as planned, I did learn I love to give. Jen, you're right. I'm a natural connector. And Michelle, I think that it is great to join networking groups and BNI groups. But in a way, it did ruin me for a while. And I had to go through and I had to figure out for me, how was I going to give just to give and not to get? And so how does this translate back into nutraMetrix, into what we're doing, how we're building our organizations? Well, I think that you need to learn to give right from the beginning, and give whether it's going to be a really great connection for you or it's not. And we need to figure out how to pay attention to everyone within our network, how to really listen. We need to really be better listeners. In the group, a lot of you keep asking, what do I say? I'm walking into an appointment, and what do I say when I walk in? I am going to a networking event. What should I say? I'm going for my annual OBGYN exam. What should I say to the doctor? Don't say anything. Just really, you need to learn how to listen, and you need to learn how to help. And so I have been building this relationship. For any of you that's in my accountability group, I've been building a relationship recently with a nurse practitioner. She owns a company that's both anti-aging skincare and it is weight loss. And since the first meeting that I had with her, since the first phone call, I always do like an initial phone call, then I went in for the discovery meeting, went back for the proposal. It's probably been about 2 months now. She just registered her business at the end of last week, still trying to set up her nutraMetrix site and go through some of the same trials and tribulations that you do. At the moment, I'm waiting for her to send me the email so I can set up that nutraMetrix site, but I just got her license sent on file, got the email from Gustavo that she's an approved HP. And since the beginning, since 2 months, I keep listening, and I don't dismiss anyone, from her office staff to even the janitor to anyone around me, and how I can connect people together. Now, her office manager, I've been working with her, and I just thought she was the office manager. I just thought they were really good friends. Thank you, Michelle. I mean, now the work begins. So this isn't, I feel like now this isn't the congratulations. Now this is the rolling up my sleeve. How am I going to make this work now, with a 2.5-year-old, with supporting you guys full time in the field, with everything else that I have going on, of course. But so I know that I need to get the staff on board. Well, how am I going to get the staff on board? Well, I just feel like if I am so valuable in whatever way, then they'll just always see me as someone who is valuable, someone to go back to. And that's something I've learned. I listened in the first meeting. The office manager was telling me about it. Might have frozen. There we go. She was telling me about a project she was working on downtown Boston, and she said to me that she needed an architect. And so I said, I have an architect, and I immediately texted the two of them each other's contact information, and I just got off the phone with her, and she said, that was great, thank you so much, that architect, that was really helpful, and it made me look really great in front of my business partner, because I was able to come through right with that architect. And is me connecting her to this architect, it's not going to benefit me in any way, but I'm always trying to give, whatever it is. And you know that my background's in pharmaceutical sales, and in pharma I had a big company credit card, and we were encouraged to bring coffee, to bring lunch, to do dinners, to always keep providing value, and really from a monetary standpoint to the office. And so it's just, is in my nature. But now with nutraMetrix, and I started in nutraMetrix when I was 20 years old, and out of my own pocket, there was no way that I could cater a lunch or bring someone else for a steak dinner. And even today, I mean, I don't know if that's necessarily how I want to run my business. I don't necessarily want to have a corporate catering business. I want to have a really strong nutraMetrix business. And so how am I going to be able to do that? Well, something really easy that I've been doing lately is, I have my normal thing, and you've seen my Pack My Bag presentation if you've been to any of the recent trainings. I always keep discovery meetings, I keep the practice planning guide, I keep the HP implementation guide, I have a catalog, I have the nutraMetrix overview brochure. I mean, I'm heading into the meeting now, and even though I don't expect to, bring any of this stuff out, I have it all. It's right here. It's in my bag. It's next to me. I am about to go into this meeting. I have information from our NEI, our upcoming courses. I have business cards. I have an awake in case I feel like I'm tired before the meeting, just for a quick perk up for me. But something I started to do, and I did this recently, I had bought my daughter a big bag of clementines, and I was like, you know what, let me just grab a couple for the office staff. This was when I registered their business the other day. So I brought like 3 or 4 clementines, and I just put them on the desk when we all sat down to first meet. Now, it's nothing, what is it, $3 for a whole bag of like 20 clementines? I mean, we're talking about, cents, dollars and cents here. I mean, this isn't a big thing. And the nurse practitioner was like, oh my gosh, I didn't have time to have breakfast this morning. Thank you so much. She ate 2 or 3 clementines right there. Do I think it's going to get me the account? No. But I'm a mom. I run a business. There's some days where I just don't eat. I mean, I would love to have a clementine. And do I think it's going to win me the business at the end of the day? Or am I just being like a decent human being? And that's what I'm really just trying to do. And I think when you start to let go a little bit, when you start to figure out how you can, like I said, give just to give and not give to get, you will figure out how to be a highly networked person. That's really what you want to do. You want to be so highly networked that you're invaluable, that they feel like you are the go-to person for whatever, whether it's an architect, whether it's a babysitter, whether it's just a good recommendation of a nail salon. I mean, I want to just be like the best girlfriend for everyone, that go-to person of, I got a guy, I know where to send you, I know what to do, and I keep listening. Because it gets a little confusing sometimes with what we do. I mean, do we do supplements? Do we do weight management? Am I in GeneSnip? Do I do websites? Am I a backup plan? Am I a way to make more money? Can I talk to you about setting up your business in the best way, whether you set it up as if you're going to put in your articles of incorporation and open your nutraMetrix business as your company or as an individual? Am I a consultant that way? I mean, it starts to get a little confusing to people. And so, I just keep listening, and as I hear those triggers, I'll bring something new to the table. Or I'll just say, I have the person for that. And so sometimes if it's not just always me that they feel like they're going to, they know that I have this network of people. And so I'm finally, it's taken me years. It's taken me, it's a decade for me this month with nutraMetrix. So I'm celebrating 10 years with nutraMetrix. This month of May was the first time I was 20 years old, and my parents, they helped fund me, and they put me on an airplane to Chicago, and out I flew to my first nutraMetrix consultant training. I'll never forget, my dad drew a little map of like the clover. Lexi, you can weigh in here, of that, the bus to get to the hotel downtown from the airport. He said it looked like a clover, and this is where you have to go. I remember lugging my suitcase up into that bus. I got out in the middle of Chicago, went for 3 days of training in a hardback chair, just like you guys did, and made it happen. And I keep trying to build my network. And you won't believe how people that I networked with, people that I brought into my life, put into my Rolodex 10 years ago, I'm circling back to now. We're having new conversations, more conversations, because I've just continued to build this network out and been highly networked. People know that they can come to me and that I am resourceful. I am a resource in this industry for them, for whatever it is. And it took me a while, and I think a lot of it is the biggest work that you can do are in between your ears, right here, in your head. Because I went through this period of time where I said, you know what, they keep saying givers gain. And I'm not getting what I deserve. I'm not getting what I put back out in there. And it wasn't really until I just let go of that to say, you know what, it's not about what I get. I really have to learn how to give just to give. And it will come back to me. And I will be able to expand my network. But you know what though? You have to pick up that phone. It's probably feels like it's £1,000,000 right now. I have 3 events that I am trying to fill this week for myself personally, and I have been on the phone for the past week. I am still on the phone. I'm calling people for an event I'm doing tonight in New Hampshire. I'm calling people for an event that I'm attending this weekend in New York City. I'm calling people to try to get them there, to network, to say, you know what, I think that this is going to be good for you because of something that you said. I just was in an orthopedic office this morning, and I looked the doctor straight in the eye, and I said, you know what, you said something to me in the last appointment, and I just wanted to know, like, I feel like I would be remiss if I didn't bring this back up to you. And you know what I do. You know my family's background. You know, would you want to go down this road with me, have a discovery, and see if lifestyle interventions is going to be a fit for your practice? And he said to me, he said, you know what, Sarah, not everyone looks like you. Not everyone is 30 years old. I see people in their 60s and 70s. I said, my grandma, 79 years old. She probably uses about $250 a month in supplementation. Her friends, they're all watching Dr. Oz during the day, coming home with big tubs of, you know, potentially toxic fish oils from Costco. There's a market out there, Dr. Anderson. There's a market, and you know what? We need to capture it. It's going right out the front door. You know, not to mention the fact that I can, you know, maybe show you some ways where your patients might recover faster, you know, show you some ways where they're just going to feel better. You're going to have better patient outcomes after surgery. You're going to have better patient outcomes with the therapy that you're recommending. And you're going to have increased compliance. And then I turned to the PA that was in the room and I said, don't you agree? Don't you get mad when your hairdresser doesn't have the shampoo in stock that you're looking for? Hey, Mom, how are you? You know, Mom, you can relate, right? Pam Wachowski, that's my mom. You know, Mom, when the hairdresser doesn't have shampoo or mousse that we use in stock, right? We're like, don't you dare make me come back. You come deliver it to my house. Like, I don't want to make another trip. My mom, no one busier than her, mom of 6 kids, grandma to 1. The reason I'm able to have this Facebook Live with you guys right now is because my mom is hanging out with Miss Ella Bella. And we're busy. You know, we don't want to have to go back. You know, I think to keep compliance really high, I know that that is a really important thing for practitioners today. And I have to be honest, I wasn't even really sure if I was going to go back for the follow-up because I said, you know what, it's going to be about another $150, $175 for me to go see this doctor just for the follow-up. I'm feeling a little bit better myself. You know, I don't know. But it wasn't me listening. And you know what he said to me? He said that he's been struggling with his weight. So that's the first thing I'm going to go back to. I'm going to say, you know what, Dr. Anderson? You're the one that brought it up, not me. But, you know, if you're looking to maybe get in your best summer shape, we have about 21 days till summer starts. So let me work with you. Let's see what I can offer you. And, hey, if it works for you, maybe this is something you might want to be able to offer to your patients. Yeah, I mean, my dad really loves when the patients can walk out with something. And that was a big part of what we even did in pharma. The reason why we sampled products, and we would sample products long enough to almost like get them in the routine, you know. So it was like, you know, 2 pill packs, 2 months of samples because a habit's made. And, you know, they're saying that it's the research is showing now it's not really 21 days, it's showing more like 60 days. So, you know, 2, 3 pill packs we used to give, and that was a great way to be able to get people used to our products and then go buy it from the pharmacy. And in this, you know, we're not sampling, but it's really nice when a patient can walk out with, you know, 2, 3 months supply, and to be able to really get used to being on that product the compliance, that's where it's at. And so if we want to talk about this from a compliance standpoint, if we want to talk about this, from a revenue standpoint, but you just have to listen, find that hot button, and so you can be able to serve that account. And when you're not able to serve that account anymore, when you've listened enough and you have exhausted your possibilities of being able to be helpful, to being able to give and serve, that might be where it's time to walk away. People always say, they get so mad at the end when there is a breakup, but I'm finding I'm really trying to break up with my accounts as fast as possible, figuring out when I'm no longer able to help them, when I have nothing left to give to them. So just know that, it's going to be a lot of the way that you mentally feel about it. And I was in that place where I used to get really mad, feeling like people owed me something. And it would be a tit for tat, an eye for eye, in a good way though. But, if I gave you something, you should give me something back. And that's not really a great way to live your life. It's not, you get the door open for you at the coffee shop, they're not going to buy you a coffee if you open up the door for someone. So it really, I think if you remember this mantra and remember, give to give and not to get, and you really work on being a highly networked person, just watch what's going to happen to your nutraMetrix business. Just watch what's going to happen to your Market America business, and just watch how you'll continue to get referrals sent to you. You'll put the pieces in place to be able to build out that structure that we talk about, where two get two, get two, get two, get two, and we all help each other and work together, and that will work for you. So I'd like to hear back from you guys if this has been helpful for you, if you think that you have been in that same mentality where, you feel like people now are starting to owe you things. And how are we all just going to be able to let go of that, to be able to receive so much more and give so much more? Thank you so much for being with me. I am Sarah Tugender, National Sales Manager with nutraMetrix, hoping to make this your most efficient and effective year yet with nutraMetrix.